the fact with Ike and Dylan? Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's Ike from Flipside Music, and welcome to What the F.A.Q, episode 5 of season 4, weekly question and answer show. You know the deal. For those of you that are
still tuning in,
that are for the 8 or 9 that are still here, you know how this goes. All right, so yeah, jump right in because
it's like 0 degrees and
it's cold. It's snowing. It's way later in the day.
Yeah,
we totally got effed. Today and yesterday. It's been a hell of a couple days.
Yesterday was weird, yeah.
Yesterday, I think we had to deal with some real difficult humans.
Yes. It was a difficult human day, yeah.
But then at the same time, we had like some damaged stuff that happened in shipping. Mm-hmm. And we had just weird
shit
stuff.
Planets aligned.
Yeah, the shithawks were gathering.
Shithawks were flying.
The shithawks were flying, Randy. All right.
You opened Pandora's shit box. Yeah.
The 3 shitketeers were
we're working overtime. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to jump right in. Cullen James. Oh, yeah. By the way, Cullen, thank you. We got some barbecue.
Oh, yeah. Some sweet and spicy sauce.
Yeah.
Or not spices.
Sauce, but spices.
Spices.
Memphis bread, it looks like.
Yeah.
So thank you. We'll keep a jar of that here.
Yeah.
Probably. Well, no. We'll bring it back here.
We'll bring it back, yeah.
Yeah, because it's going to be a while since we get in here.
Yeah, so. we gotta test it at home first.
Yeah, so thanks, bud. I appreciate you
thanks for sending
us some stuff. That's always cool when folks send us cool things.
Yeah.
So
yeah, his question this week is, what is a song you think is almost perfect? Like you could tweak just one, or if you could, stumbled all over that one. If you could tweak just one thing about it, it would be great. So like something that's basically almost perfect, and if you could tweak one thing, what would make it perfect?
That's a tough question. Because there's
pretty much any Dream Theater song because of the vocals. I know there's a bunch of people I'm probably gonna upset with that one. I've never been able to get I love Dream Theater as a band, but the vocals kind of kill it for me. I still listen to them, but it's just like the vocals still really. Like, I would almost prefer, like, an instrumental version of Dream Theater. Because it's, like, as good as... It's basically 4 amazing musicians and then the singer.
Yeah, that's just not for you.
Yeah.
Is really what it comes down to.
Well, but, like, the instrumentation is there.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I'm with you. I just...
Which is funny, because Collins, I don't know if he's a Dream Theater fan or not. Or I'm trying to even think of like
Metallica with a snare drum. You know, maybe
just the whole Saninger album tone on the drums.
Maybe just because it's not awful. It's not an awful album.
Well, I've always contended that is a good one because I've always contended that album, honestly, Load, Reload, and Saint Anger, if those were done by a different band that wasn't Metallica, they would have been
better. It would have gotten better reviews. I go back and I listen to some of that stuff going, at the time I did, and now taking a different perspective of things, I consider some stuff going, that's actually not that bad. I just, at the time, didn't like it. And there's a lot of stuff I can look back all the way back to when I was a kid. I'm like, man, I freaking hate this. And I'll go back and listen to it going, I might have been a little bit too harsh on this one.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
So I'm going to go with that because that's what I can think of right now.
No, that's that is a good call. That album in general, because there's a lot of more, somewhat meaningful songs in that in terms of the therapy part of it. And so I always thought that, that album obviously is it's an easy one to pick on because of the snare, for sure. All right, Terry 3Gs, his question this week is, he's basically commenting on the fact that my cell phone kept going off last week because we were busy, or we are busy.
Yeah. It's been good.
Yeah. So he says, since we heard Dylan's cell phone notifications going off in the last episode, when have you gotten calls or notifications to your cells at the worst time or the worst time that you're doing something? So when have we been in the middle of doing something and we get cell phone dings left and right? Also, have you ever experienced a cell phone affecting a piece of musical equipment using it or not? So I actually have a video because we sort of prepped this time. So I have a small video I'll splice in right about here. Wait for it. Anyway, when we come back from that, obviously you guys will get a pretty quick idea of what can happen with a cell phone and a piece of guitar gear.
Yeah, and that's funny because we've had customers that are like, this thing isn't working right, blah, 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 I don't know. And we're like, where's your cell phone? Oh, it's on top of the amp.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, or they'll put it like on a stand right above their pedal board or something. And
it's like you're getting interference. There's things that are happening, and then they'll try and go, oh, shit, okay, yeah, that was it.
Exactly.
But as far as...
That first one, getting notifications or
it's all the time.
Call. Yeah, I was gonna say it is all the time. Last week I just forgot to silence it. Usually I silence it when we're doing the videos. So that was I think that was the only reason. I mean, we're busy to the point that now it just goes off all the time.
Yeah, fairly regularly. But something to add to that, the worst times or when it becomes the most annoying is, and I think I might have mentioned this last week or one of the.
In a previous week.
Yeah. Is when what'll happen is Carla, who does a lot of our, she does our listings, and she does our used listings, and she'll do a bunch of stuff, put it up in bulk onto our website, which in turn syncs to Reverb. And so she'll sometimes put up 30 or 40 listings because we had a bunch of killer stuff come in, and that's how she got to it. And then me and Dylan have to spend the night basically swatting shitty lowball offers off of Reverb all day long, or questions that are easily answered from the pictures.
Either things from the pictures or things you could easily Google or just look at like the manual that's easily available on most of the manufacturers' websites. I mean that is a good one because I do feel like that really does disrupt our nights pretty regularly when that happens.
Especially when a bunch of them go up, it'll be over and over. And what happens is you got a guy that's like, "Well, decline the offer," and then he'll come back with $5 more, and it's like, you're $75 under what we're asking for this particular thing.
Right.
F your $5, man.
Well,
like it's not.
Most of the time we price our stuff at middle or below where it's going to be because we're trying to move it. So most of the time our stuff is like right where it should be priced. Yeah. So like when people try to lowball and then they lowball the lowball, it's like it just gets
it's like we're already the lowest one. How are you asking me for less?
That or we might even be the only one, and you're still trying to get a deal.
Right. So we got to swat those, and it's really funny because we'll be going decline. It's the same guy, $5 more, $3 more, decline, and then what happens is, whoosh, somebody else just buys it at the price that we asked and then we'll get a note. Hey guys, great price, thanks, man.
Exactly.
Let me know when they get shipped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like
my favorite is because even last
it happened last night.
Yeah, I was gonna say even a few days ago there was one that had 4 offers pending at the same time, and then some other dude just swooped in, grabbed it, and just wiped out all 4.
Great deal.
Yeah,
it was the deal. It was the lowest. It was
already a deal.
Reverb.
Yeah,
and it was almost brand new, and the guy was like, "Yeah, that's a deal."
Yeah,
and he bought it. So anyway, okay.
But yeah, that one's
over.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely the most common way we get interrupted in terms of because it doesn't really ever end with that part of it. All right, Jake M. Gagoots.
Yeah, Gagoots.
His question this week is, what's a famous tone that, in your opinion, is super misunderstood in terms of what gear is needed to achieve it?
Angus Young.
Angus Young? Okay, actually, that is a great one, and I have another slightly more modern one, but I'll let you go first because I think that wasn't one I was expecting.
I'm just going to go Angus Young because I got a buddy of mine that AC/DC cover band, a tribute band. They did everything perfect, and most of that is just like, you just really need to just turn the amp up. It's not as distorted. That's just loud.
Well, there's literally only like 3 ingredients in his tone: guitar, a slight boost, and an amp, and that's it.
Yeah.
And the boost is only from like the receivers that they used to use.
Yeah. So. And the thing is it's just the amp cranked up, and it's not really the fact that it's not as gainy and is not as much distortion as you would imagine. And when you really listen to it, you're like, you know what? Well, it really isn't that distorted.
Right. And a huge part of his tone and getting to the misunderstood part of it is not only because it's simple, but because the amp has to get turned up to that volume. Speaker distortion, and I think that's something like nobody brings up necessarily when you're trying to get the AC/DC tone. Because I've got to say, like it might be almost half of like that signature crunch that you get out of ACD is the speakers, yeah. Because like those speakers, are about to give up at that point, and so like that, that extra little sauce, that extra little sauce is like that's the missing piece. Because most people these days don't ever actually hear or experience speaker breakup anymore because speakers have a lot higher, handling power than they used to. So most people never even hear one at its limit.
Yeah, when it's
because Neil Young's the same way. Like part of his sound is literally a speaker dying,
about to give out.
Yeah, like that's why he has a dude that literally swaps his Well, when he used to tour more, he would swap his speakers, almost weekly or nightly almost, because that was part of his sound, was like pushing an underpowered speaker with an overpowered amp, and that was part of the
you're trying to kill it thing.
Yeah. One I was going to go with, and it's only because it comes up a lot, was so this band called Khruangbin, and I'll go ahead and put it and maybe spell it because I don't even know if I'm saying it 100% correct. But they're basically a very simple 3-piece band that took like American jazz and kind of fused it with like Thai pop music, and they're huge over the pandemic. So for whatever reason, because they were a band I checked out like 4 or 5 years ago when they had an album that got big. But all of a sudden over the pandemic, I think a lot of people like stumbled onto their videos, so they blew up over the whole pandemic. And it's funny because that guy's tone is literally just a Strat with a malfunctioning pickup going into basically a reverb pedal that's got it, pretty well turned up in terms of the amount of reverb, hitting a deluxe reverb. And so it's like a massive part of his tone is literally just the malfunctioning pickup hitting a reverb that's hitting another reverb. And it's like, it's only literally 3 pieces of gear, but so many people come in
trying to figure out how to
and it's like I try to tell people, it's like there's no, other than maybe trying to replicate that malfunctioning pickup, there's no
magic bullet.
Yeah, there's not a lot of extra there in terms of variables. Like you just need a deluxe reverb, a Strat, and some kind of reverb pedal that has a little bit of a kick to it. And it's like, and that's pretty much his sound. And it's like
like that Peter Green, the Peter Green.
Yeah, exactly.
Deal, where it's like, well, how does he get that? Well, he did it. He installed the damn thing wrong.
Right, but they liked the sound and kept it.
And that's what happened.
Yeah,
so
and that's exactly what happened to I forgot his name right off, but the guitarist in Khruangbin, he basically took his guitar to get serviced. When the guy did the pickup swap, he wired it in opposite, so basically one of the pickups is out of phase with the other two, and so his whole sound is literally just a slightly messed up wiring configuration, and that's his thing. And it sort of gives it this almost kind of a sitar kind of sound, because like the phase, slightly canceling out the other part of it ends up sounding kind of, more Eastern sounding, I guess. But anyway, cool. That's a good question actually.
All right, so moving on.
Yeah, Gordo has a long question.
Gordo's got a long question. You want to read it? But we already know the answer to this.
Well, yeah, we can do it
because actually we found out. Yeah, Gordo texted me last night.
That was actually
this. So you go. Yeah, go ahead.
So this I'm probably gonna have to black out the whole screen so you guys can read this.
Because it's a super long question-ish comment. Yeah,
what was that? What was like the little write-in thing that people used to do? Like the little lady, like Dear. It was like a write-in thing for a newspaper.
Oh, Dear Abby?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So Gordo says, Dear Abby. No.
I was watching season 4, episode 2.
And the question of novelty gear came up. Maybe this already exists, but I've always wanted to see a momentary detune plus tremolo effect that replicates the more subtle sounds that a wiggle stick or tremolo produces. He says, I'm thinking of a stomp box situation where you have control over the rate, depth, dry effects, mix, all with your knobs. A momentary bypass plus a tap tempo would allow the player to essentially put the right amount of depression on the effect. Fast for a Sonic Youth kind of vibrato effect, or a Twin Peaks shallow kind of moody dive. So I think he's kind of saying just like all the subtlety, weird kind of effects you get out of using a trem system. It wouldn't be anything as extreme as what you get in a whammy or a pitchfork, but it would be cool to have an alternate universe version of that effect for the players without trem arms on their shit. I would call this effect the downpresser, even though it has nothing to do with Peter Tosh. I would house it in an old tin Band-Aid box. An optional expression pedal called the foot presser would be housed in a sewing machine foot pedal. It's my idea, you can't have it, now tell me how dumb I am. So it's actually not dumb, and it's been done.
And we found out yesterday that Game Changer Audio.
Yes.
So basically, what Gordo was looking for was basically the effect you get from a Bigsby.
Well, a Bixby and or trem system.
Yeah.
Those different like downshifting or down tuning effects, or even like just that slow. It's different than a trem, like in terms of a sonic trem, more of that vibrato kind of sound. But.
And so yesterday, I get a text from Gordo, and Game Changer Audio has made basically a Bigsby in a box.
Well, they have the one that's called the Game Changer Plus, or Game Changer Audio Plus is what the pedal is. And that's the one, and it actually looks like a piano sustain pedal.
Yeah.
And then Bigsby put out the licensing rights, and I actually don't know if it's Game Changer that's doing the Bigsby specific one. Because there's one that's actually shaped like a Bigsby. And I don't know if
with
it's...
the thing turned down, so it would be...
So that's the pedal part.
So that would be the pedal part. Kind of like if you would turn it around when you're putting it in a case.
In a case, yeah.
So it kind of looks like that.
Yeah.
Very cool. We might have to call Game Changer Audio.
Yeah.
And
they actually have a few things, because
they
they also have a sustain/freeze pedal that's different than the Electro-Harmonics one. And theirs is actually interesting because it's momentarily activated just by pressing down and holding on the pedal. But they make theirs look like the sustain pedals that you get on like pianos or those like the weird teardrop kind of shape thing. So Gordo, these actually do exist. Obviously, you stumbled upon it, but we needed the question anyway, so it's getting answered anyway. So, but not a dumb thing at all. And I actually,
I'm kind of interested in it. I think it'd be kind of cool, seeing that now I'm going to get rid of one of the guitars I have with the Bigsby.
See if it actually does the trick.
Yeah, I'm at it again. Something came in, and I'm like, I think I got to have it. So and it's nothing. It's so weird because I always pick the cheap. It's always the cheaper stuff too.
Well, I was telling the customer that the other day though, and it actually made him feel better about like his purchase, because I kind of use because you've been saying it enough lately. Like you're like, it's my shop. I could play anything in here, and it's like I've basically said that. I'm like, it's his shop. He could play anything in here, but he buys G&Ls, quite often, and so. The guy was like, oh, okay, well, I feel better about that then, because he wasn't sure if he should wait for like a U.S. one or just go with one of the tributes that we had.
I love my G&Ls.
Yeah. Well, it's just one of those things, like bang for the buck. That's, that company's tough to beat. And even, even some of the stuff that, Epiphone and even some of the...
That's actually what I'm looking to get. Somebody brought in a 335, a gold Epiphone Dot.
Yeah, one of the newer ones.
One of the newer ones, and, made in China. But it plays like my old Korean Dot, and I just love it because it's gold. So I'm going to take the gold one.
It does look classy. Yeah,
it looks cool on it. So I'm going to take the gold one and probably put some new pickups in it. Jake, I might put in those pickups that you brought in with that SG the other day, because that sounded killer.
Yeah, by the way, guys, check out, what was it?
Groovy
Gravy, or Total Gravy?
Gravy Groove?
Gravy Train pickups. No, let me see. I think it was like Total Gravy.
Total Gravy? They were, man, those pickups sounded great. So one of our customers, Jake, brought in these pickups. He put it in SG, and it just nails the Derek Trucks thing.
Yeah, Total Gravy Guitar Works, if you guys want.
Pickups sounded great.
Yeah, they did. I don't usually get sold on pickups right away.
They sounded killer.
Yeah, they sounded awesome right away. So, I mean, it kind of nailed... He's using it, obviously, for more of kind of a Derek Trucks vibe, but it nailed the Clapton. It had that... It even had kind of the Billy Gibbons kind of squonk to it, like that PAF chirp that you should have in a pickup, so...
I think I'd like to get those into that Epiphone. And then I'm going to give Dylan my old Epiphone Dot. If you want it.
I'd love to, because that's a huge sound that I don't have, and it's one that I feel like I'm definitely missing.
Yeah, and this one, if this one didn't feel exactly like that old one, I wouldn't get rid of it, but then I don't need three.
Well, yeah. But that would be awesome, because, like I said, that's one of the semi-hollow things, something I've wanted for a while, but I never really knew where to dip in.
I'd like to put a Bigsby on it, but I don't really need to do that, all that shit. I don't need it. I just get the pedal.
Yeah. Well, that would actually be funny. We just have an excuse to try to see if that thing works, and because I mean, if that thing actually works, I think the Game Changer one specifically.
I could put a Duesenberg trem on there if I wanted to, because
that
fits
be
right
cool.
on the thing.
That would be cool. You could probably do, with it being what it is, you could probably do one of the extended Bigsbys that doesn't have to actually mount to the.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm gonna.
Now we're just chatting about your gear for everybody to.
Yeah. It's just more
and that
stuff.
rhymes.
And also I'm gonna have my Strat with the P90s in it too. So I'm on a weird.
Lots of stuff cooking.
I'm on a weird path, but I'm getting rid of stuff too. So
Yeah.
I'll let you guys know, and probably in March, I think we mentioned this, if anybody's even still in the room. We talked about doing an email thing. I think in March, we're going to start doing the emails on Friday, and that's going to kind of have a bunch of, it'll have information in it, and probably maybe a demo video, and
Or at least
maybe,
links to the video, yeah.
Yeah, and then cool stuff, like I think we're going to do a little section where it's like, cool used gear that came in this week. Or
Or
something
used
to
gear
that
alert or
effect.
something along, yeah.
So, yeah, and it might be a video, and then it's a link to
Well,
it.
yeah, it's not. I know we've been talking about the newsletter for a stretch, but now we're actually, after we have the feedback that we had like last. Well, no, I guess that was almost 2 months ago. But now that we have the feedback, we're actually
2 years ago.
Yeah, well, yeah, we have good feedback from a couple months ago when we asked in the FAQ. So at least we have a better idea of how you guys want it to roll out.
And we're finally kind of getting around to it. Everything's been crazy. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's it, right?
Yeah, that's it for this week.
All right, now we got to drive through Denver traffic to get home.
Yeah.
This would be wonderful.
Well, what's
All right.
great is it's really cold when because all my on the way down the wiper fluid kept freezing before it would.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's when I know it's good. Because when the wiper fluid freezes before the thing
It all
moves.
crystallizes.
Yeah, and it does that, and it sucks, but.
And you're like, no.
Yeah.
All right, we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Dune and Dune. Dune. Yeah. Jazz, man, jazz. It's like, fuck, what did he? It's like, hey, ding.
Yeah. Oh, next.